Hey everyone, I'm Sergeant Chelsea Baker, and today we are going to take you behind the scenes and give you a sneak peek of a day in the life of a public affairs specialist. Hey everyone, I'm Sergeant Chelsea Baker, and I am a public affairs specialist. Today I'm going to take you around the studio and show you what we do here in the public affairs office and give you a little bit of information about what our job is and what goes into that. So I'm going to take you around the studio and show you around, and then I'm going to explain a little bit more about what our job is. So behind me is our blue and green screen, and these are for us to be able to shoot video, key out the background, and we can put virtually any kind of background behind the individual who's talking. It makes it easy for editing videos so that if we need to have a solid background or if there's some specific type of graphic we want to use, we can just shoot in front of one of these screens and we can edit it out. And then we can put in whatever image, graphic, background we want for that video. Over here is our podcast area. We have this nice big table that the engineers built for us, and we have our equipment over here with our soundboard, which is really cool. We're able to take this virtually anywhere. We've done podcasts in the field. We've been able to have call-ins. So it's really cool that we have this piece of equipment that we can put out content for you guys in a fun and interesting way. So if you're not following us on our YouTube channel, make sure you go and hit that like and subscribe button. And then over in this general area, we shoot our Know Your Mills. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see some of the Know Your Mills that we've shot. Typically we turn the lights out, so it's like a dimmer kind of lighting, and then we use the state flag with a solid black background, and then the individual sits here. We also do them on site, so they don't have to be done here in the studio. We can go anywhere in the field and shoot them. As long as we have an area to shoot with some kind of background, then we can accomplish that mission as well. So over on the other side of the studio right here is where we do our head and shoulder photos. So typically the photos you see in the armories on the wall of the different commanders, sergeant majors, first sergeants, stuff like that, typically they come here and get their photo taken. We have the American flag with the gray backdrop, and then we have the stool, which we sit out here, and we have some lights, which they're over in the corner right now. But this is the area where we take head and shoulder photos who are in command positions or just whatever they may need a head and shoulder photo for. So now that we've kind of walked through the outside studio portion, I'm going to take you into the office and show you a little bit of what we do in there as well. Okay, so in here we have our 3 workstations. This is where we do all of our editing, we do our planning. We sit here and talk about new projects that we're going to shoot. You can come over here. We have our calendars on the wall. We have several around the room. You can probably see that this month is pretty busy for us. We have our charging station, our printer, scanner for old photos that sometimes we scan and archive. And then over here is our equipment cabinets. It holds all of our camera equipment, any gear that we use in the studio. We have our bags so that when we go out in the field, we can have everything readily available and we can just pick what we need, pack it up, and hit the road. So this is basically what it looks like to be a public affairs specialist. We do have photographers that are in other areas. The studio or the video personnel work in the South Carolina Military Museum. So we're kind of all over the place. A public affairs specialist, it has a lot of different roles. We have our photographers, we have our videographers, and we're actually merging into one MOS. So beforehand you had somebody who was specific in photography and somebody who was specific in broadcasting, but now the MOSs are merging together. Our mission for the state is basically we're telling the story of the soldiers and those who are in the South Carolina National Guard. We go out in the field and we shoot training exercises, we do stand-up interviews. As you can see, we do the podcast in the studio, we shoot Know Your Mills. But there's a lot that goes into public affairs that a lot of people don't know and that they don't see behind the scenes. So on a day-to-day basis, for full-time staff, we come into work, we check our emails, we see if there's anything scheduled for the day that needs to be shot or edited, and we kind of go from there. If we have something to shoot, we set up our equipment, we make sure everything's good to go, and then we shoot the product. Video is a little different with editing because we have to put everything on the computer, which that can be time consuming, and then we have to sit and edit the product. A 1-minute video doesn't take 1 minute to edit. It could take a couple hours, it could take a couple days depending on what the end result is. So if we're not in the studio editing, or if we're not out shooting something, we're either prepping for the next video, we're training on equipment, or we're researching and learning new things that can help better us in doing our job. We may be on YouTube looking at tutorials, we might be learning how to do graphics, and we manage social media, and we just try to do everything that we can to get the content and share it with the M-Day soldiers and airmen, getting out the information to the families and the citizens of South Carolina. But the focus of public affairs is just to tell a story, and that's what we try to do every single day. We try to come up with new content, new ways to share that information with you guys. And the cool thing about our job that a lot of people don't realize is that we get to go around and experience all these different jobs, all these different MOSs that a lot of people typically wouldn't get to experience. We get to meet a lot of people with interesting stories, and if it wasn't for our job, we wouldn't be able to go out and find those stories to be able to share with everybody. So there you have it, the day in the life of a public affairs specialist. And make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you turn on the bell because we're going to be putting out a lot more content and information for the rest of this month. And we will catch you guys in the next video.